Business Book Summaries.
Modern society is filled with people who don't have a personal stake in what they're doing, and that's a big problem. When someone lacks skin in the game, they don't have a strong reason to be fair or just. Having skin in the game is a way of looking at the world that applies to every aspect of our lives. In simple terms, it means being cautious about trusting, taking advice from, or doing business with people who don't have a personal investment in what they're doing. But if you have to deal with such individuals, proceed with caution.
Before we delve further, remember that we regularly share new content. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel Business Book Summaries and hit the notification bell for the latest updates.
Book Overview. Nassim Nicholas Taleb gained fame for predicting the 2007 economic recession in his bestseller, The Black Swan. His latest book, Skin in the Game, is considered his most thought-provoking and practical work yet. Taleb reshapes our understanding of the modern world, offering crucial insights into how people can contribute to a fair and just society. Drawing examples from ancient history to recent events like the 2016 election, Taleb makes a compelling case for the importance of risk and personal investment. According to him, a society's heroes, saints, and morally successful individuals are those willing to take personal risks for the greater good. Key points in the book summary. 1. Why minorities often rule. Discover why the preferences of the minority sometimes hold more sway than those of the majority. 2. Ethical rules aren't universal. Understand Taleb's perspective on why ethical rules can vary and are not universally applicable. 3. Intellectuals versus idiots. Explore Taleb's thoughts on how one can be an intellectual but still act foolishly. 4. Distrust biased opinions. Learn why you should be cautious about trusting someone's opinion if they stand to gain from your decisions. 5. Importance of personal investment. Understand the significance of having skin in the game when making decisions that affect society at large. 6. True religion as commitment. Taleb discusses why true religion is not just about faith but requires a genuine commitment. 7. Distrust complicated solutions. Explore why complex solutions, especially if someone else was paid to find them, should be approached with skepticism. The book dives into these topics and more, offering valuable insights into navigating the complexities of our modern culture. Before delving into the big ideas, here are a few crucial quotes from the book. 1. If you do not take risks for your opinion, you are nothing. 2. Those who talk should do, and only those who do should talk. 3. The curse of modernity is that we are increasingly populated by people better at explaining than understanding or doing. 4. By definition, what works cannot be irrational. Big Idea 1. The power of experience over pure reasoning. Taleb's first significant idea revolves around the concept of skin in the game. He argues that practical knowledge gained through hands-on experience, trial and error, and the passage of time is far more valuable than knowledge derived solely from reasoning. In simpler terms, he emphasizes that direct contact with real-world situations is superior to abstract thinking promoted by self-serving institutions. The core message is that decision-makers should face the consequences of their choices. Taleb likens this to developing calluses, the bumps and bruises we acquire in the process of learning. He contrasts this with bureaucratic systems that shield individuals from the effects of their actions, citing government bailouts as a prime example. He asserts that true learning only happens through experience, making it essential for progress and evolution. In everyday terms, it's like letting a child fall and get back up. They learn by doing. Taleb warns against relying on advice from those who merely talk or explain without having real-world experience. He argues that academia, which values explanation over action, hinders progress because it lacks the necessary skin in the game. Big Idea 2. Ethical accountability and the Silver Rule. Taleb's second key idea centers on accountability in ethical decision-making. He introduces the concept of the Silver Rule, advising that individuals should not provide advice or services for personal gain when there's a potential conflict of interest. He emphasizes the importance of aligning personal interests with the advice or service one offers. Taleb illustrates this with medical treatment, pointing out how doctors might prioritize short-term success rates over long-term consequences to avoid immediate legal risks. In simpler terms, he suggests that ethical behavior involves ensuring that what benefits others also benefits oneself. In everyday situations, it's akin to the idea that if you're recommending something to someone, it should genuinely be in their best interest, not just yours. Taleb warns against those who offer advice solely to benefit themselves, as this creates a conflict that can compromise the quality of the advice given. Big Idea 3: The Influence of Individuals on the Collective. Taleb's third major idea focuses on the relationship between individuals and the collective. He highlights the importance of understanding both individual actions and their impact on the larger group. Using the analogy of studying ants, he emphasizes that grasping the behavior of a collective requires considering both the actions of individuals and the overall system. Taleb stresses the significance of individuals with skin in the game, who actively work towards their goals and influence the collective. In simpler terms, understanding how societal trends and behaviors evolve requires acknowledging the impact of committed individuals. Taleb warns against underestimating the influence of determined minorities, emphasizing that significant change often comes from those with a personal stake in the outcome. Big Idea 4: Freedom comes with risks. Taleb introduces the concept that what truly matters is not what a person possesses or lacks, but rather, what they fear losing. He shares the story of a dog and a wolf, where the dog boasts about the comforts of its domestic life. The wolf is enticed until it discovers the collar around the dog's neck, a symbol of captivity. The wolf, valuing its freedom, rejects the comforts offered to the dog, choosing the risks of the wild over a collar-imposed existence. In everyday terms, the lesson is about the cost of freedom. Taleb suggests that many employees, akin to domesticated dogs, trade personal agency for job security. He emphasizes that true freedom involves accepting risks, much like the wolf in the wild. Being a company man who conforms to corporate expectations is compared to being an obedient dog rather than a free-spirited wolf. Taleb urges individuals to recognize their true status, whether they are submissive like a dog or value their freedom like a wolf. Big Idea 5: Authentic Freedom and Social Customs. Taleb delves into the paradox that the most authentic indicator of freedom often lies in adopting the customs of lower social classes, such as simple clothing and casual manners. He argues that genuine freedom comes when the consequences of one's actions have minimal impact on their well-being. The example highlights that those who fear losing their job or status are constrained in expressing themselves freely. In simpler terms, Taleb suggests that true freedom is reflected in one's ability to speak openly without fearing repercussions. He questions the trustworthiness of individuals whose job survival hinges on pleasing higher-ups, asserting that they may not make sound decisions due to vested interests. The Big Idea prompts self-reflection. Are you a dog, constrained by societal norms, or a wolf, embracing the risks of authenticity and freedom? In conclusion, Taleb encourages us to ponder our approach to freedom, whether we are content with the comforts of conformity or willing to embrace the uncertainties that come with true independence. Big Idea 5: Embracing Imperfections and Real Risks. Taleb introduces the concept that real risks, marked by scars from experience, signify true engagement in the game of life. He emphasizes that, in today's world, society values real people who have faced failures more than the idealized but abstract notions of perfection. Taleb uses the example of Donald Trump, who, despite being criticized as a failed entrepreneur during the 2016 election, saw an increase in his popularity among his supporters. According to Taleb, flaws and blemishes create a connection between real individuals, while people tend to avoid interacting with those who present an unreal, flawless facade. In simpler terms, Taleb suggests that imperfections make us relatable and authentic. He contrasts this with the unreliability of many modern psychological studies, financial reports with the predictive quality of astrology, and frequently changing dietary advice. Taleb argues that our instincts and the wisdom passed down by our grandparents often prove more trustworthy over time than scientific findings. This, he believes, is because policymakers and advisors are often too detached from the real game of life to fully understand its nuances. They lack the skin in the game, meaning they don't bear the risks of their decisions. Taleb proposes that the individuals we should be most wary of are those at the top of the hierarchy who lack this skin in the game. He suggests that challenging or questioning decisions made by such individuals is essential because they might be out of touch with the realities faced by ordinary people. In Taleb's view, promoting equality in society involves compelling the super-rich to engage with real risks, ensuring that they, too, experience the consequences of their actions. This, according to Taleb, is a step towards making society more equitable. Big Idea 6: Challenging stereotypes and embracing simplicity. Taleb's sixth big idea revolves around the notion that stereotypes should be trusted for unconventional reasons. He introduces the quote, "If your private life conflicts with your intellectual opinion, it cancels your intellectual ideas, not your private life." Taleb contends that individuals who defy stereotypes in their professions often excel precisely because they had to overcome biases and work harder to prove their capabilities. The presence of skin in the game personal investment drives them to surpass expectations. To illustrate, Taleb humorously suggests that, if faced with a choice of surgeons, he would prefer the scruffy, unkempt one over the polished, Ivy League-degreed counterpart. He argues that, in various professions like medicine, simplicity often outperforms complexity. Taleb criticizes certain professions, such as consultants, academics, and political analysts, for clinging to complex solutions, benefiting from the mystique rather than practicality. Simplicity, he insists, has a superior track record. Taleb extends the principle of simplicity to everyday life, using examples like people preferring hamburgers over filet mignon and the social pressure for the wealthy to live in grand isolation. His advice is to assess how wealth affects life and recognize that making more money should broaden choices, not limit them. Taleb emphasizes that skin in the game is crucial in fields where accountability matters, such as in the restaurant industry. Journalists, he argues, lack this accountability, as they can report biased information without facing consequences for the actions taken based on that information. Taleb's moral stance is against claiming virtue without living with its consequences. He challenges individuals, especially those wanting to save the world, to avoid virtue signaling and rent-seeking. Instead, he encourages taking risks, starting a business, and embracing accountability as the ultimate expression of skin in the game. In Taleb's perspective, going against popular narratives and embracing simplicity and accountability is a virtue that truly matters. Big Idea 7: Authentic belief requires commitment. Taleb introduces the concept that true belief demands a genuine commitment, stating, "Skin in the game belief requires an entry fee." In the past, the mark of sincere devotion was evident through tangible sacrifices or commitments. Taleb highlights a historical example. When Pope John Paul II was shot, ambulance drivers prioritized taking him to a hospital for treatment over the idea of seeking prayers in a chapel, emphasizing the practical over the symbolic. He notes that the distinction between atheists and the religious has blurred. Today, atheists might engage in practices like yoga and meditation, seeking a sense of awe without religious affiliations. Taleb categorizes some individuals as atheists in action and religious in words, citing Orthodox and Catholic Christians as an example. He acknowledges a more extreme category, individuals who are sacred in actions and words, exemplified by suicide bombers. However, Taleb notes a unique category that doesn't exist: those who are atheists both in action and words, completely devoid of ritual and superstition. This absence of belief in both deeds and expressions is rare in the contemporary world. In simpler terms, Taleb's point is that your beliefs will influence your actions, and whether it involves a tangible commitment or not depends on the specific belief system. In conclusion, the big idea underscores that authentic belief goes beyond mere words. It requires a tangible commitment or sacrifice, representing a timeless aspect of sincere devotion. Big Idea 8: Rationality, Survival, and Ensemble Probability. Taleb explores the connection between rationality, survival, and probability in the eighth big idea. He states, rationality brings rewards unless you are perfectly narcissistic and psychopathic. Even then, your worst-case scenario is never limited to the loss of only your life. The core principle is that survival takes precedence over truth, understanding, and science. According to Taleb, religion serves as a mechanism for tail risk management across generations, establishing uncomplicated and universally applicable rules. In simpler terms, rational decisions are those that ensure survival for individuals, communities, tribes, or any group. Taleb emphasizes that traits should be evaluated based on how they enhance the odds of survival for a species rather than how they compete with each other. He introduces the concepts of ensemble probability, concerned with a collection of people, and one-time probability, focused on a single person over time. These distinctions are crucial for understanding how predictions, especially regarding the stock market, impact individuals beyond societal outcomes. Taleb argues that no individual can match the returns of the market unless they possess an infinite amount of money and can endure repeated losses without being eliminated from the game. Survival is the critical component of success, and collective survival is more achievable than individual survival exposed to repeated risks. In essence, rationality is about avoiding systemic ruin for all involved. Taleb concludes by highlighting that the key takeaway from Skin in the Game is understanding asymmetries in human interactions and closing gaps in certainty, risk, fairness, and potential reward to ensure accountability for everyone's actions. Here are 3 practical ways people can use the insights from the book Skin in the Game by Nassim Nicholas Taleb. 1. In decision-making and risk management. Apply the principle of skin in the game to decision-making. Before making important choices, assess the personal stakes involved. Consider how the decision will impact you directly and whether you are willing to bear the consequences. Evaluate risks and rewards more holistically. Understand that decisions should not only be based on potential gains but also on the potential losses. Ensure that you have a personal stake in the outcomes to align your interests with the decision's consequences. 2. In business and entrepreneurship. Start a business as a way of expressing skin in the game. Recognize that entrepreneurship involves taking personal risks and accepting responsibility for the success or failure of the venture. This aligns with Taleb's emphasis on the importance of personal investment in achieving success. Be cautious of advice and expertise. Consider the source's level of personal involvement and accountability. Individuals who have a direct stake in their advice, such as successful entrepreneurs sharing their experiences, might offer more valuable insights than detached consultants. 3. In personal growth and learning. Embrace challenges and discomfort as opportunities for learning. Understand that, just like the concept of pathimata, learning through pain, mentioned in the book, personal growth often comes from facing challenges and experiencing adversity. Question and challenge conventional wisdom. Apply the book's insights to critically assess widely accepted beliefs and practices. Look for instances where actions align with words, and be wary of situations where individuals or institutions lack skin in the game, as this may affect the reliability of their advice or decisions. By integrating these principles into decision-making, business endeavors, and personal development, individuals can leverage the wisdom from skin in the game to navigate life with a more robust understanding of risk, accountability, and success. Closing notes. Actionable insights from Skin in the Game. In the closing notes, Taleb explores asymmetries in human interactions and how gaps in certainty, risk, fairness, and potential reward are created. The necessary competency for winners varies by industry, and even a minority of 3 to 4% of the population can rule the majority. Taleb notes that the wealthiest individuals are often the easiest to scam because they have less to lose. He emphasizes that the community is generally at lower risk than individuals, and religions often require some form of sacrifice. Finally, Taleb points out that those who do not fit industry stereotypes are often the best at what they do. As a parting thought, Taleb shares a crucial quote: "Let us return to pathimata, learning through pain, and consider its reverse, learning through thrills and pleasure." He discusses the dual nature of people's brains, one engaged when there is skin in the game, and the other when there is none. The presence of skin in the game makes otherwise dull or boring activities more engaging and purposeful.
We're keen to hear your thoughts on our content. Feel free to share your opinions or recommend books in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel Business Book Summaries and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest summaries. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.